All right, so welcome to our cell activation patches that are using photobiomodulation, our info Q&A. I want to welcome our iPhone user and Carol here to the call. We might have a few other people jumping on this call as we get started here. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to be reviewing the Fantastic Five, which, as you may or may not know, of the 11 patches that are available, there are 5 that take care of the primary systems of the body. And what else can I tell you about that? We're going to have our little disclosure here in a second. We're going to talk about the mother stem cell activation patch. We're also going to cross our T's and dot our I's by letting you know that these patches are not intended to treat, prevent, or cure any disease, because we do not heal, cure, treat, or diagnose. Sidebar. Those words are owned by pharmaceutical companies, so that's why we can't use them. However, we don't offer protocols because only pharmaceuticals can offer protocols. However, the suggestions do not replace the diagnosis and treatment by a qualified licensed healthcare professional. We strongly recommend you consult with your doctor concerning your specific health challenge and treatment needed. So moving on here. Also, just a quick FYI, our facilities are FDA registered facilities where these patches are created and where they're manufactured. We have 12 distribution centers to support 82 different countries. So in the US, it's here in San Diego, or Europe, it's in Ireland. And the US Food and Drug Administration has taken the position that all claims surrounding stem cells and healing, even those from natural products, will be regarded as drug claims. So the FDA also asserts that claiming that the use of light to elevate peptides, such as GHKCU, is inappropriate for a general wellness product. So as a result, well, the last part of last year, from the fall to December 31st, they said we could no longer say that, although we have 90 clinical independent studies with placebo-controlled groups done in the United States, Europe, and Asia that actually show that we, in fact, do that with the stem cell activation patches. Not to mention, we have 120 global patents approved in 82 countries that also show that this technology actually activates peptides, it activates stem cells in the body to do this rapid repair. So with that being said, supposedly the first of this year, we're back to being able to say that again, but until we have 100% without a reasonable doubt of that being so, that all the FDA agents are on the same page of music, it's a large organization, as you know, we'll continue to put that disclosure. So all of this is possible because in 1973, this brilliant mastermind called Dr. Lauren Picard discovered that GHKCU copper peptide activates 1/3 of your previously dormant stem cells, turning your genes to a younger, healthier state. How much better can it get? Well, let me tell you, it can get much, much better. Now, this makes you want to beg the question, what are stem cells? Well, stem cells are simply pluripotent cells. Pluripotent cells simply means plural as opposed to singular, potent potential. So it means that each one of those cells are having many potentials. It can make a heart, a stomach, a fat cell, a red blood cell, a bone cell, a skin cell, a neuron. It has all the programming from the time you were conceived until you take your last breath, everything that's needed to form you in your mother's womb, all the way to take you to the very end. And so the thing to note is, like, when you're first conceived, if you think about it, your mother's ovum comes into contact with your father's sperm. And until that moment, an ovum or a sperm cannot create life. But when you put them together, you have complete information. You have 23,688 genes and stem cells that immediately begin to form you in your mother's womb. And you grow into an embryo that later grows into a full formed fetus that later turns into a newborn baby. And the thing to know about that is that when you fast forward to 30 years of age, did you know that 90%, well, let's back up here. When you're 30 years old, 50% of your stem cells turn off. Not because those stem cells are damaged, they're destroyed, or they disappear. No, they simply go dormant as a function of aging. You keep on fast forwarding on your timeline, and you're 30 years old, 40 years old, 50 years old, 60, and at 60, 70, 80, you get to 60, and it's 90% of your stem cells turn off just as a function of age, until you apply a stem cell activation patch. So I want you to think about your body, because your body is just like it's like a house. Our bodies are really temporary housing units to basically house the energy, the personality, the individual that is you, right? And if you look at inside the body, your stem cells are very much like printer ink cartridges. So when you have brand new printer ink cartridges, just like when you have at conception, you have 100% of your 23,688 genes and stem cells that are there to form you from the first two cells that come together moving forward. Well, your printer ink cartridges, anytime you make a copy, color or black and white, you can't tell apart the original from the copy. It's indistinguishable because you have 100% of the ink, right? Same thing with your stem cells. You have 100% of your stem cells, which is why 10-year-olds don't have gray hair. They don't have wrinkles. They don't have jowls. They don't have smile lines. They don't have those 11s or the deep, groove in between their forehead. They just don't have that, right? Now, if you look at how do these stem cell patches actually work, these phototherapy patches, which are also called photobiomodulation patches. It's like photobiomodulation is kind of a big word, but photo means light, bio, because we're biological beings. Modulation simply means movement and change. So these patches work through the light that's inside your body. If you touch your face, you touch your neck, you touch your arms, we're warm, right? That is evidence of the light that's inside of our body. If I were to take night vision goggles and I were to look at you through night vision goggles, that infrared light that's inside you would be glowing outside of you, and it's evidence through those night vision goggles, which law enforcement and the military, use that to see people at night. And so that infrared light that's inside your body is because of the electrons that you have in the cells inside of your body. And then electrolytes are in your bloodstream. Both electrons and electrolytes have information. They have information and they have nutrients that go throughout your body. And both electrons and electrolytes are packets of electricity, of light energy in the infrared spectrum that are inside your body. So now you take a look at, let's say, a diamond crystal, because the technology works like this. Imagine looking at a diamond crystal, and let's say that I'm going to shine a light. Let's say I don't have my flashlight. Sometimes I do have it handy. Sometimes I don't. Now is a don't time. But if you look at this diamond crystal and I were to shine a flashlight on it, you could see that the light source is the flashlight. It's going to bounce off the crystal and it's bouncing back to my eyes, that light and all the different colors of the rainbow from the prism. That's the exact same thing that's happening with these patches. These patches, the white part, as I hold this up to the camera, you will see that this patch around, there's the adhesive and in the middle, it's a white dot. That white dot, they're tiny, itty bitty nanotechnology. They're called nanotechnology because you can't see it with the naked eye. Those tiny crystals, they're organic hydrogen crystals. It's organic hydrogen, oxygen, water. It's also organic sugar crystals and organic salt crystals and a proprietary blend of organic amino acid crystals. And all of those crystals are arranged in a very specific geometrical pattern, and they're set to a specific frequency so that the mother stem cell activation patch, known as X39, so that it will activate what mother stem cell activation particles do. So it's good to know that while your phototherapy has been defined as the use of ultraviolet light for its healing effects, the patches have been specifically developed to reflect light in the infrared and visible light bands back onto the skin where the patch has been placed. In this case, you could see it on my wrist. So supported by normal electrodermal skin conductance, the human body gives off a number of materials biochemically, including particulate release, gas emission, ultraviolet, infrared, near-infrared, and visible spectrum light. So this then stimulates that area of the skin, producing improved physiological effects. Variations of phototherapy have been used for at least 100 years. So in that time, there's been very little evidence of negative side effects. This suggests that this is a relatively untapped option for healing with relatively few risks. So the first documented case of photobiomodulation, we've known for thousands of years, by the way, that ancient Egyptians have used photobiomodulation for 5,000 years. The Taoists have used photobiomodulation for 5 to 10,000 years. So we've known this for quite some time. But the first scientific documented case of photobiomodulation was actually in 1895. And in 1903, Niels Ryberg Finsen actually won the Nobel Prize for his research on using red light to treat tuberculosis of the skin. And in his experiments with mice, Finsen found that exposing them to red light reduced both their symptoms and the mortality rate from lupus vulgaris. So I want you to notice one thing about these patches. As you look at these patches, you see I'm wearing this here on my wrist. I'm going to hold this up to the camera so that you can get a good look at this. I want you to notice that these are non-transdermal patches. What does non-transdermal mean? Simply nothing transfers into the dermis being the skin. They're non-invasive. That means that nothing invades the skin. Nothing is absorbed, even though these are organic sugar crystals, salt crystals, organic hydrogen, oxygen, water crystals, and a proprietary blend of organic amino acids. These are not being absorbed by your skin. These are mechanical structures that are reflecting back the infrared light, as I mentioned before. So they're non-invasive. They're organic. They're holistic FDA compliant Class 1 medical devices under the general wellness category, and we manufacture our products in FDA registered facilities in the United States, and our facility in Ireland is registered with the Irish Medicine Board, which is the highest authority, and we manufacture our products to the same standards as a medical device, because again, this is just a mechanical structure to redirect your own body's infrared light, and that is what's activating this stem cell rapid repair. And in fact, our facility in Ireland is ISO 9001 and ISO 13485. Now, that's a quality standard, pretty big deal. So it's really important that even if you're not doing the patches, just as a general wellness practice, Olympic athletes, people that are really big into health and into fitness, peak performance athletes, people who are into longevity and anti-aging already know how critically important it is to drink 50% your weight in fluid ounces of water. Why is it such a big deal to drink 50% your weight? So 50% your weight, 150-pound person, that would be 75 ounces of water, which is about 5 water bottles a day. When you are dehydrated, your proteins in your body fold. So when your proteins fold, that disrupts something called the Krebs cycle inside your body. You don't need to remember the Krebs cycle part. Just know that your proteins, as soon as you're dehydrated, the proteins fold, and that is the beginning of disease in your body, because now you're going to start to have symptoms because you have whatever the weakest link in your body is, you're going to start to have a compromise in that organ and that organ system of the body. When you are 2% dehydrated, you're going to feel thirsty in your mouth. 8% dehydration, you're probably going to be horrified, because a lot of people are very disturbed to realize that from 2%, you reach 8% dehydration. Let me show you, my friends and gems, what happens to your DNA. Your DNA is 92% water. So it's the primary structure that holds up your DNA is actually water, 92. So this is hydrated DNA. You'll see that the structure of your DNA is beautiful. It's a perfect helix. It's got that figure 8 kind of going on. That's exactly what it's supposed to look like. At 8% dehydration, your DNA starts to unravel. It literally starts to fall apart. The telomeres at the end of the DNA strands, there's a myelin sheath. It's like a little fatty acid that's around, like their little socks at the end. Those it starts to disintegrate, and then the telomeres, the ends start to break off, and your DNA starts to unravel and it starts to collapse, which is why that's the beginning of very serious disease and conditions and syndromes in the body. At 10% dehydration, you lose your mind, because the brain is very hydrophilic. Your brain is 75% water. Your brain is very water loving. As soon as you start to get thirsty in the mouth, it pulls water from the brain. Your brain literally shrinks when you're dehydrated. And nobody survives 12% dehydration, because at 12% dehydration, full body shutdown, you're dead. You die. Nobody can exist, because it's like cement inside your body. Nothing can move. So that is it. Life is not sustainable. So, oh, by the way, If you're wondering how long am I supposed to wear these patches, first of all, you wear more than one at a time. Like you'll see that I have 5 of these connected here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The fantastic 5 right here. Oh, by the way, these patches are to be worn 12 hours on, 12 hours off. So we are Bluetooth to the circadian rhythms of the day and the night, which is tied to the cycles of the sun and the moon. And you have sunrise to sunset, and then you have sunset to sunrise. And of course, you have melatonin that's signaled as your eyes are seeing daylight. You have melatonin that helps put you to sleep at night, and serotonin that helps you wake up in the morning. And that's tied, we're actually Bluetooth not only to the sun's about 42% infrared light, and our bodies are all infrared light. So we have lots of photoreceptors inside of our body, inside our cells to receive. That's why it feels so good to be out in the sun. And it also helps set all sorts of hormones and things in your body, as well as the different circadian clocks for the different organ systems, not just your sleep cycle. Okay. So here on the bottom right, I want to show you guys where I'm just showing you that you can attach the patches. You can overlap just the adhesive. Do not overlap the white crystal lattice, because each patch has a different crystal pattern. The crystals are arranged in a different geometrical pattern, and each one has a different frequency. If you're overlapping those patches or putting one on top of each other, now you're not going to get the proper signaling because you've disrupted the pattern. That pattern is supposed to touch your skin directly. Okay. So let's go on to this, this share. Here we have Dr. John Harmon, who, when he came to us several years ago, he had 2 big issues. One big issue was that his doctor said to him, he's like, I don't know how you're walking on that thing. Your knee is a polished knob. He had 0 cartilage. He had bone on bone. So you can only imagine how painful that was. But an even bigger problem, because you and I both know, we can live without a leg. You know, we've seen people that are missing a leg, even missing 2 legs. You can survive without a leg. But guess what? None of us can survive without a heart. You have to have a good pump, has to be working properly. And he had just been diagnosed with a right bundle branch blockage. So he went to not 1, not 2, but 3 cardiologists. And all 3 of them said the exact same thing. Oh, no, too bad, so sad. You have a right bundle branch blockage. Oh, by the way, it's inoperable. It's inoperable. You're going to have to be on heart meds for the rest of your life. And now your longevity is going to be compromised because you got a bad pump. And again, it's inoperable. And he was pretty dismayed. He had been feeling a lot of PVCs and a lot of fluttering in his heart, and it just didn't feel right. Luckily, he did go when he did to find out what was going on, and he had that diagnosis. And he thought, oh my gosh, surely there's got to be something out there that can fix me. And that's when his first miracle showed up in his life, in the form of somebody introducing him about these stem cell activation patches. Now, fast forward it was about between the 3rd and 4th month, his knee was like completely fine. He no longer had pain. He was able to increase his hiking, and because he loves to hike. But what's really impressive is that fast forward to the 14th month mark, and when he reached 14 months of wearing the patches, all 3 cardiologists were really taken aback. They were really quite astonished when the first cardiologist said, I've never seen anything like this in my entire career. I've never read any kind of research. I've never read any kind of papers written about a right bundle branch blockage disappearing. I have no idea how this is even possible. But at that point, then Dr. John then revealed to the cardiologist, he's like, well, I've been on these stem cell activation patches, started 14 months ago. And they're like, well, this is incredible. All 3 of them basically said the same thing. They were astonished that this could even be possible for someone that was in his age, because I don't know exactly how old he is, but he's definitely north of 60. He has something like 10 kids and like 28 or 29 grandkids. So the bottom line is, the other incredible phenomena, if you want to call it a phenomena, I'm going to call it a phenomena, astounding result that he received was, in addition to having his cartilage regrew, his knee function totally fine, and his right bundle branch blockage, that condition disappeared. and his heart was restored to a younger, healthier state, which falls in line with what the clinical research studies show of our stem cell activation patches, where it shows that for every 4 weeks that you're on the patches, your cardiovascular system is 2 months younger. So after 6 months of being on the patches, your cardiovascular system and heart is actually about 8 years younger. And when you're at the 1 year mark, you're 16 to 20 years younger from a cardiovascular perspective. So he got that benefit. And on top of that, because your stem cells, their job, they're programmed to replace damaged cells, period. So the only reason why we have fine lines and wrinkles is because of oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is there because of cellular damage. And so your stem cells don't care if it's a fine line or wrinkle or if it's damage in your heart. It knows to put the damaged cell replacement first at the heart and second at the skin or maybe scar tissue that's inside of your body. It knows how to prioritize. That's called triage. It knows that your heart, your brain, your liver, your kidneys, those are vital for your being able to be alive. You can live with a wrinkle, but you can't live without, like I said, any one of those organs I just mentioned. So he got the benefit of not only having this repair inside of his body, but it also extended to the outside of his body. So when he started, month 1, he had gray hair. He had a lot of fine lines and wrinkles to the point where I told him affectionately after he had this cellular repair, yeah, when you started, I could have played tic-tac-toe on your forehead because you had lots of lines that went horizontally, and then in between your brows, you had a 111. You could see that right here, 1, 2, 3. You could see the other lines going the other direction. You could see the lines around his mouth. You could also see he had a lot of inflammation around his eyes. 14 months later, oh, the other thing is his brows. He had very little eyebrow hair and a sprinkle of brown on these eyebrows. And 14 months later, his skin is so much better. Not to mention, he started regrowing his original hair color. It started in the back of his head and it went upward to where now the majority of his hair is brown. He has he's got still some gray sprinkles on the side, but the majority of his hair grew back to his original color. We have a lot of people where not only their original hair color comes back, but even bald spots. Like I had a bald spot from where a bus hit me. I had a point of impact behind my head. I had a traumatic brain injury. We'll talk about that another time. But the bottom line is he got that it's not just anti-aging, it's reverse aging effect over time. Okay, so let's move on to, are you aware, oh, by the way, that fibroblasts begin to decline when you're just barely the wee young age of 25 years of age in their production of collagen? Because collagen is the #1 building block protein of the body. This patch activates and increases your collagen production because it's what's needed for all the tissue inside and outside of your body. So here we have Barry. This is the first person that I patched who had long haulers. Barry had been suffering with, first of all, he came down with really bad COVID. And then after he had COVID, he had really bad long haulers where he had horrible insomnia. He would wake up every day with a headache, with nausea. He had low stamina and horrible fatigue. And so when we started him on June 23rd of 2022, I told him, Barry, let's get you started on these patches. This is going to help you get some sleep and it's going to help you feel better overall. So we got him started on the patches and I told him he hadn't slept hardly in 18 months. So I said, let's get you started now. He received his patches between 3 and 5 o'clock on June 23rd. So we started him that late afternoon. And I told him in 24 hours, you're going to wear these till tomorrow, he wore them overnight. So then I told him, make sure you get back to me within 24 hours because I want to find out how you slept the night before and I want to see how your body's responding to the patches. So he did. So he sent me this text message and it just says real simply, it was like, oh, so exciting for me to read this. Hey, Lillian, just a note, don't know if it's a placebo or if the patches work that quick or what, but I had really good sleep, little better sleep than other nights. I fell asleep quicker. Today, I'm just on a high. I'm ecstatic and Gwen sees that in me. And I feel really, really good physically. When I awoke this morning, no headache, no nausea. Yeah, it's just been a phenomenal day. So thank you, and I'll update you as we go along. Hope all is well. Thanks. Bye. Well, you can only imagine how thrilled. This is a personal friend of mine who lives in Canada. So I was thrilled that I was able to share this life-saving technology with him that gave him relief. And it's not just giving him relief, putting a Band-Aid over something that's still damaged. It's actually repairing things, because all 5 of these patches repair different aspects of the body. All right. So the next person I want to share with you, and he's still on the patches to this day. So Kathy McCarthy, she suffered, poor thing. Oh, so many women that suffer from, they have breast implants put in, and they suffer for years with autoimmune disorder, and the silicone leaks out of the, the implants, and it gets into their bloodstream, it gets into the muscles, it gets into their organs, it gets into their brain, and it just wreaks havoc with their body. And so this was what was plaguing Kathy. And so Kathy got started on the patches, but I got to tell you, she was like super, super doubtful, cynical, even distrustful, I'm going to say. She really didn't think, she goes, those little Band-Aids are supposed to do what 33 years of all these professional doctors and MDs and internists and all these different professionals that I've seen, none of them have been able to provide me any kind of relief, let alone any of them have been able to fix this problem that I've got going on with this autoimmune disorder. We're like, listen, these are going to activate your original stem cells from conception. So it's like your original blueprint, your original playbook is going to be opened up. Just let's get a picture every 30 days. Let's get a picture now before you start on the patches, and every 30 days since. Luckily, she heeded our advice and she put the patches on. She started taking pictures every 30 days. Lo and behold, she put this picture up on her Facebook page, and then I shared it on mine, and I immediately called her and I did a Zoom call like we're having here. So in January, she was 62 years old at the time. January, you could see she had a lot of fine lines and wrinkles on her chest because she spends a lot of time outdoors in the sun every single day. 60 in March. Look at how much less her wrinkles were 3 months later. Now let's fast forward to June. All of the wrinkles are gone. You could see the moisture in her skin. You can see the rejuvenation, and you just see a little hint. I can only see from this picture 3 lines. 1, 2, 3. Fast forward to July. At the 7th month mark, fine lines, wrinkles, all of that. Even some of the age spots are gone here. They're lighter. And this is what her profile picture looks like. At first, she would not give us the profile picture. So the story is this: when I saw her Facebook post, October of 2022, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's pretty dramatic effects. So I said, we got to get on a Zoom call. So I said, hey, would you send me your profile picture? And I would love for you to do a Zoom call where I can share your entire story. Soup to nuts, what happened to you, what caused your autoimmune disorder, and what your experience was that led to this very point in time. She said, okay, I'm not going to do a profile picture. I don't do profile shots, period. I don't like taking pictures of my face, but I will do the Zoom. And I said, great, because as you know, on a Zoom, there's no way for me to edit that. So people are going to see that your neck, your chest matches with the pictures, and they're going to see that it's actually legitimately you. So she said, yeah, no problem. I'll do the Zoom. You can put it on all social media. I don't care about that, but no profile picture. I said, okay, I'll take what I can get. So needless to say, posted it on my YouTube channel, Instagram, Facebook, everything. And then I sent it to her and she watched the video, and then luckily she changed her mind. So that's why I have this picture now. So you can go to my YouTube channel and you can find this image and you'll see her testimonial there. But what's exciting is that she's now 64 years old. Not only was she relieved of her autoimmune disease disappearing, because it was her immune system was repaired. She was detoxed, because this patch, this mother stem cell activation patch, it has glutathione. It increases your glutathione production by 30%. Glutathione is found in every muscle of the body, every organ of the body. Your brain signals your liver to manufacture glutathione, in this case, 30% more glutathione. Glutathione is responsible for detoxing you, and it's also responsible for your immune system. So guess what? You get an uptick in antivirals, more protection of germs, viruses, and bacteria, and the rest is history. So she got to have her cake and eat it too. She not only got rid of her autoimmune disorder, she had more energy, more clarity, more focus, more brain processing speed, energy, stamina, sexual libido, fine lines and wrinkles are gone inside as well as outside the body. Really quite exciting. So, you've heard people say sometimes, sayings like, oh, it's like, no, it's not like you got hit by a bus. Well, my friends and gems, I'm here as a survivor of I actually was hit by a bus. I was just bicycling and I was 3 blocks shy of finishing a 16-mile bike ride when I was literally hit by a bus. I suffered a traumatic brain injury, which is also known as brain damage. Your hippocampus, your hypothalamus is in the back of your head, and that controls your short-term memory. So when I was hit, my short-term memory was gone. I had no short-term memory. Quite miserable experience. Didn't know that I had no short-term memory for almost 2 years. So I got hit by a bus, suffered brain damage. I also had a C5, C6 neck injury and an L1, L5 lower back injury. I also had a laceration from my ankle to my knee, right along the shin bone. Took over a year for that thing to close up and to heal. Miserable, ugly, nasty scar. But the bottom line is this. When your brain goes offline because you have brain damage, all your neurobiochemistry, your biophysiology gets all messed up being a technical term. So I suffered all sorts of neurological conditions. This is the whole laundry list of most of those conditions, which I'm glad to say that I started June 22nd of 2022. So by July 13th of 2023, this whole laundry list got cleaned up. Now, I still have a tiny, maybe 1 or 2% of it's a very faint, light, flat scar because it was a purple raised scar, and the bone on my shin, when it healed wiggly, but it's not wiggly anymore. Within the first 4 months, the bone filled in, which goes to show how quickly your bone density can increase. And so many other things. Like I said, I had visual problems. I had horrible tinnitus, horrible insomnia, sensitivity to light, lost 10 pounds I couldn't afford to lose. Bottom line is everything got put into balance because when you're on stem cell activation patches, your body is brought into balance, into homeostasis based on your original blueprint. That original playbook is opened back up and everything is reset and restored. So it's a pretty awesome experience to have. So here we go. This is the bottom line bullet points about what the X39 pluripotent cell activation patch does. First thing, it's going to reset 1/3 of your genes to a younger, healthier state. So if I use 60 as a number because I don't know how old any of you are. It's easy to add to 10 any number. So 10 plus 33% is 43%. So in effect, your body's behaving like a 30-year-old body because 1/3 of your genes are turned on to a younger, healthier state, regenerates your cells, replacing damaged cells, restores collagen, rebuilds scar tissue by replacing the scar tissue with the original tissue, not just any tissue, reduces fine lines and wrinkles, increases energy, increases sexual libido, antioxidants, anti-aging, anti-inflammation. You'll have pain relief within 50 to 100% within 3 to 4 minutes of applying the patches. You'll have improved hair growth. In my case, that bald spot that I had for 5 years that nothing worked to restore it because I had no hair. It was like as bald as your palm, not a hair follicle. It was shiny, no evidence of a single hair follicle for 5 years. I lost like 50% of my hair. It was dry, coarse, and brittle. When I got on the patches, within 4 months, my hair became soft, silky, and smooth, which was pretty impressive because that's pretty fast because your hair is made of all protein. And I had 70% of hair growth on that bald spot that was the size of my palm. Incredible. And I had about 3 to 4 inches of hair growth. So now I can wear my hair up in a ponytail and I don't have to worry about that bald spot showing. It's like totally fine. I have one guy, Chris Williams, who when he started during the 4th of July is when he started last year, about 6 months ago. He had lost all of his hair and his beard because he had chemo and radiation because he had esophageal cancer. He could not talk for more than 10 minutes when he first started on the patches. And he also had all these lesions in his mouth where he could barely talk for no more than 10 minutes. And he also had a prosthetic that was in his esophagus as a result of that. Well, fast forward to December, just last month, he grew back his beard. And now his beard, he said that his beard before he had chemo and radiation was all white. His beard now, I'm going to have to pull out that picture and show you guys. His beard is now his original brown hair color. And he's starting to grow hair now on his head. And I know he's north of 70 years of age because he mentioned about being over 70. I'm like, wow. And his daughter's like commenting on how he has a beard, and it's the original, like during the holidays. And she was also like holding his arm and saying, Dad, look at your arm. All of your age spots are gone. And the thing is, his age spots not only went away from his arm, but they also went away from his face. Not to mention, he can now talk 30, 40 minutes. The prosthetic that they told him that he was going to have for life, the doctor said, we always put these in for life, but you don't need it anymore. So they removed it in November. He just keeps getting better and better and better. It's so extraordinary to see him. So the other thing that the mother activation patch does is it gives you deeper, sounder sleep. Carol and I can vouch for the fact that you sleep like a baby on these patches. It's because it induces REM sleep, because babies have REM sleep, right? As your body gets more and more in balance, usually in the first 24 hours, people say, wow, I slept so much better just from the first day of being on the patches. So where do we put these patches? So we advise you to apply them on our 90 studies had 2 primary locations that people put them on. Governing vessel 14, which is at the base of your neck, the top of your spine. You can feel that neck bump back there, or right below your belly button. However, depending on whatever your symptoms are, whatever your conditions, whatever pain points you have, if you have issues with an eye, with what have you, a heart, stomach problems, again, we're not making any medical claims. These are general wellness products, but your stem cells are responsible to repair anything and everything head to toe. So as different things are being signaled with each patch, you have this massive cellular reparation and restoration going on. So the default point for everyone is neck and below the belly button. But I like to tell people, if you have pain, point to the pain and patch it. You have lung problems, point to the lung. If you have a left lung issue, right lung issue, both lung issue, you want to put it on your chest, so forth and so forth. All right. The next patch is 49. So what's the difference between 39 and 49? Well, it's the daughter, it's not the mother. The list is shorter, still very, very powerful, works in concert very well with the mother activation patch. You bring the two together and now you've got something very dynamic. This one protects you against radiation poisoning relief. It increases lean muscle mass. All mammals, as we age, we lose muscle mass and strength. So this is increasing lean muscle mass. Athletes love this. Increases your bone density, increases energy, your focus, and your cardiovascular function. It protects you against electromagnetic frequencies from 5G, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi radiation, TSA scanners, X-rays from your dentist's office or other doctors, PET scans, MRIs, you name it, ultrasounds, the gamut. It reduces belly fat because it's designed to use the belly fat that you have as an immediate source of energy to do this rapid reparation instead of using the glucose that you get from whatever last meal you ate. If you have osteoporosis, your bone density, because it's increasing, your osteoporosis will disappear. Osteoporosis is not a sickness or an illness. It's just a condition. So if they tell you that you have osteoporosis, they're just describing to you that your bones are porous, because osteo means bone, porosis means porous. So it's just stating bone porous. That's all. This increases bone density, so that disappears quite naturally. Because again, you're being reverted back to a younger, healthier age. So now we're going to talk about the next 3 patches, which that will complete the Fantastic 5. I'll be very excited and happy to learn about this. And so we have glutathione, carnosine, and then our third in our Fantastic 5, which is Eon. And these are very powerful master antioxidants. Oh, by the way, remember to drink 50% of your water every day. And the glutathione patch, we talked a little bit about glutathione because just the mother activation patch, whoops, over here, this one increases your glutathione by 30%. But when you wear it with this glutathione patch, now whatever your original blueprint calls for, if your glutathione levels today, in comparison to what the original was, is let's say 3,300 let's say it's 330% higher, it needs to be brought up, then this patch will increase your glutathione levels. The studies show anywhere from 300 to 600%. So whatever it is that your body needs, it knows to reset it to that point. It's your master detoxifier, your immune booster. Do you think over the last 4 years it would be healthy and helpful for you to have a boost in immune system with the things that have been floating around over the last 4 years? You ask me, I'd say yes. This is an antiviral. Should I say no more? It's also a radio protector from DNA damage. It's going to protect your DNA from being damaged. Helps skin appearance. Glutathione is very important for skin. Helps promotion of relaxation and reduce stress, which glutathione is going to help bring pain levels down as well. So very important master antioxidant. It's right up there with melatonin. Our research paper shows, I'm going to jump here to the bottom because here you have the list of the different organs: pancreas, liver, gallbladder, intestines, left and right adrenals, hypothalamus, and pituitary gland had significant improvement. And it shows here that there was a baseline statistical power of at least 91%. That's pretty monumental. There's very little, if I don't know of anything else that's out there that has a 91% significant improvement from a baseline from anything out there. So it's pretty impressive. But again, your own body is being reset to its original state. So you're just restoring what you were conceived with. So it's nothing foreign to you. Carnosine, the next patch. Carnosine, I like to be playful with this patch because who doesn't like carne asada tacos? And the root word of carnosine, and that's the name of the antioxidant, just like glutathione, is carne, which means flesh in Latin. So this master antioxidant supports improved cardiovascular system, all things related to your heart and muscle, improves healthy brain function, memory, focus, and brain processing time. It increases your strength, your stamina, and endurance, detoxes your brain from aluminum, and it aids in wound restoration. Very, very powerful patch, and it works very well in synergy with the other 4 patches that we already discussed. And of course, oh, by the way, remember to drink 50% your weight in fluid, ounces of water every day. Yes, it's that important that I made sure I mentioned it 3 times during this broadcast. All right, my friends and gems. The last one is Eon. Love this patch. Carnosine really helps with memory, focus, and brain processing speed. It's tied to your cardiovascular system, which we just discussed. Paramount importance, because people don't know that if you have a good cardiovascular system, you have good brain function. But if, like in my case, I literally had brain damage. So even though my heart was good, my brain was damaged. So guess what? Because my brain was damaged, it was causing hypertension because everything was out of whack. I literally had a brain, your brain gets disconnected, whatever part is damaged in in my case, it was the back of the head, back and side of the head that was damaged. But that's past tense. It's no longer damaged anymore. I get people complimenting me all the time about, oh my gosh, you have an amazing memory. How did you remember this? How did you remember that? Because I'm on these patches. This little patch, not so little patch, because they're all the same size. This patch is not only your master anti-inflammatory, we call it our anti-stress happy patch. Because yes, people who had PTSD and anxiety like me, because I had that from my brain trauma, guess what? It resolves and dissolves it. This patch balances your left and your right brain. So when your brain is out of balance, it brings it into homeostasis, into balance. It increases your DHEA, fountain of youth hormone. So it gives you this calming effect. Can't tell you the number of people who I deal with who have TBIs, concussions, multiple concussive events. Just a guy earlier today, he had at least 4 or more TBIs in his lifetime. Plus he's had 4 spinal surgeries. Goes on and on and on. The bottom line is that these patches will help restore your brain, your body, head to toe, inside and out, to a younger, healthier state. This patch balances the left and the right side of your brain, while the carnosine patch increases your brain memory, your focus, your brain processing speed, and the mental clarity, as well as your focus. Really fantastic thing. The other thing to note is that as you're stressed, your body produces cortisol because your adrenals release cortisol, which gives you your fight or flight response. If you have pain in the body, your cortisol levels go up and you're able to have enough energy to respond with that status of pain. That turns into C-reactive protein in your body, and it does not feel good in the body. So this patch reduces your cortisol levels. It brings that down and the cortisol levels down. Now it brings it into balance. So you have a calming effect that while you're energized, you have energy without the jitters, but you're calm and you're very focused and things become more clear. It's really quite exciting as you move forward, and it just keeps getting better. The other thing is that this patch increases your anti-neoplastins, which are there from conception moving forward, but they decline as you age. And these are peptides that are simply found in the urine of healthy, normal people. The research studies show that they might stimulate your immune system and that these peptides might also kill certain cancer cells or prevent them from multiplying, proliferating, and growing. In a clinical setting, they're used for various cancers, high cholesterol, brain swelling, or infection due to any kind. There's no limit. There's some exceptions. There's some, not exceptions, some examples here. But in a clinical setting, that is administered in a clinical setting through an IV called IVIG, intravenous immunoglobulin. All right. So the other thing for you to be aware is as you're watching this particular broadcast, whether it's a computer or whether it's, let's say it's a cell phone or an iPad, a notebook, whatever your electronic device is, those all have blue light screens, and that causes mitochondrial dysregulation. It actually destroys, believe it or not, the fountain of youth hormone, which is called DHEA. It also increases insulin resistance. It also increases inflammation, which is why it's so important to wear these patches, because this is going to offset that. It's also very important to get morning sunlight, preferably morning and, right after sunrise and also at sunset. So right after sunrise, before 10 o'clock in the morning, get at least 15 minutes unrobed, so your skin is all receiving that sunlight, so you get natural UVA and UVB light, which turns into vitamin A and vitamin D, both of which turn into hormones in the body. Your original production of vitamin D, not, from a supplement. And then at the end of the day, the golden hour, an hour before sunset, because it helps regulate your melatonin and serotonin cycles through your eyes and the photoreceptors of your skin. Super important. But these patches are going to go a long way to help you offset those things as well. All right. So let me answer any questions that Zipporah and I don't know, my iPhone user here. How are you doing? Do you have any questions, let me put you, I'm going to stop the screen share and we'll go ahead and answer your questions now.
How many times can you use the patch?
So the patches are the instructions are you wear it for 12 hours on, and then you're going to match the 12 hours that you signaled your body with 12 hours with rest, repair, and restore. And then the instructions say to discard them. Now, I started telling my people after a couple of months of using the patches on my patients and myself, I started noticing that a lot of people were putting the patches on their cats and dogs, and a lot of dogs, and even horses. And one lady put it on a parakeet, which I was like, a parakeet? Where did you, I had a parakeet when I was a kid. Their heads are so tiny. This would be like huge on the head. So I'm like, where did you put the patch? And she said, oh, I just put it on the perch. And she said her parakeet looked like it was listless, like it was passing away. So she just put it on the perch, and she said immediately it perked up. And I'm like, I didn't ask her how she removed the patch because they've got feathers. So I don't know if she waited for it to fall off. I never asked that. I was kind of stunned that she put it on a bird because a bird is not a mammal, but it worked on the bird too. So the bottom line is there are one patch use. However, if you have a pet or an animal, or if you even have a gal who she has a son who was 6 when he started, now he's 7 years old, and he's has Asperger's, and she would apply her used patches because she couldn't afford to buy patches for both him and her. So she would use her patches for 12 hours, and then he would wear the patches that she would take off of herself, put them on him, and he would go to sleep with them until the next morning. And he had vision improvement like within August, September, October. Yeah, so within 3 months, he had vision improvement, and he could tell. He knew which patch was giving him. He said, Mom, the X49 patch and the carnosine patch are improving my eyesight. It was pretty amazing to me. So the patches are supposed to be a one use only, but I tell people, like, my dog died, so I don't have a dog anymore. My kids, they have their own patches. So I take my used patches the next morning when I go to put my fresh patches on, because you'll see that I'm wearing here on my wrists. I have some on my neck, and I actually have some on my belly button, under my belly button. So then I'll take my used patches from the previous day and I'll just put them under under my left foot. Sometimes I'll put it under my right foot. So, and then after that, at the end of the day, then I just throw away. And then the ones that I have on my neck bump, etc., then I go ahead and I put those on my bathroom counter because it's granite. It has to either be on a mirror, because a mirror is not porous, just like granite is not porous. That'll work too. Do you have any other questions? Okay, I don't know if you have any other questions.
I can see why you would put it. You want them to get cold again until your body heats it up. Is that correct? I mean,
It's not so much it getting cold. It's more that you don't want it to react with the oxygen in the air. Because
okay.
when you put it on a mirror, or even if, let's say you don't, for whatever reason, you can't put it on the mirror in the bathroom, you have maybe a Formica counter, you don't have tile, or you don't have granite, then I would say just take a glass cup. As long as it's just plain glass, you can take a glass cup and just put it on a glass cup, because it's non-porous, it'll stick perfectly to the glass cup and it won't react with the oxygen. If you don't do that, and you can just try it, you'll see, like these ones that I have here, this is just from yesterday, and it's like nothing, there's nothing sticky about this at all, because the adhesive is reacting with the oxygen, and also the crystals are reacting with the oxygen too. So that's why, they don't stick on anything. So that's why you want to put it on a non-occlusive surface like glass or a mirror, or even a glass bottle or glass cup. It just has to be glass. Ceramic, probably, I've never tried it on ceramic, but that's just like ceramic tile, so I don't see why that wouldn't work. Yeah, so that's all. Do you have any other questions, iPhone user? I didn't catch your name.
Well, my name is Nabila. No, I don't have any more.
Nagila, okay, nice to meet you, Nagila.
Nice to meet you too. We talked, I think, last night.
Yesterday, yes.
Yes.
Today, so nice to meet you. Yeah, any other questions that you have about the patches?
No, actually, I should be getting mine. You said Thursday, so once I get it, so you recommend that the best thing is to put one in the back of your neck and one under the belly.
You could separate them like that, because like right now I have that. So I have 39 and 49 on my neck, and then I have glutathione on my chest right now, and then I've got SP6 and carnosine on my belly button. So yeah, it depends on what it is that you're working on your body. Default position for everyone is on the neck bump or below the belly button. So whatever conditions it is that you have when you receive your patches, you can either go ahead and put it on the default, either connect them all, put them on your neck bump. I believe you're on 4 of the 5 patches, so you can connect them all, put them there. If you have pain anywhere, Nabila, anywhere in your body, point to the pain. And then, for example, I have a friend in Arizona, which she should be getting her patches tomorrow. She fell down and broke her wrist. She broke her wrist and her arm. So, and luckily they don't have a cast. She has a splint on it, but she doesn't have a cast on it. So I told her, when you receive the patches, you're going to connect them like this, and then you're simply going to put them like this around your wrist. You could put it this way, or you could also put it this way. I like to surround the area that you have pain in with the patches. So your wrist, you would simply bracket that area like you're surrounding it like this. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So fortunately, I do not have ongoing pain. The pains are if it's not, well, my main thing is to get rid of that scar tissue in my intestine.
So for you, your patches are going to be on your stomach. So the side of your stomach where you have that scar tissue, because you have things having to do with your digestion. If you feel that you have more pain, even if it's chronic, where it's like sometimes it's like really sharp and then it goes away, or maybe it lasts an hour or 30 minutes or what have you, whatever the side of the body is, and instead of putting them in a row like this, I would do a circle around that area of your stomach where you have the pain, and just wear them there. And if you notice that pain then starts to go away, you could keep it there for a while. You might want to put it under your belly button, because that conception vessel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's right the front of your body, that has to do with anything related, not only your reproductive organs and hormones, but also all things related to your digestion. Small intestine, your large intestine, your stomach, your pancreas, your gallbladder, your spleen.
Okay. No, I don't have pain at all, but it just that, I'm just constipated. That's it. And that also only on the weekdays, but on the weekends, I'm okay.
So that's going to get cleared up. So we have another gal named, Carol knows her. Her name is Annie Reeves, and she used to have really bad chronic constipation. She's been on the patches since the Tuesday, August 8th, and her constipation, she has suffered chronic constipation, also rheumatoid arthritis. She almost has like no chronic constipation anymore. She's become much more regular. I'm looking forward to the day where she says, I have zero constipation. It's like totally fine. But she really experienced significant improvement in the first 2 months, I'd say, that she was on the patches. She says, wow, it's definitely better. And we hear that from a lot of people I've started people who had things that were way more serious in their body. And then they reveal to me, it's like, oh, I'm regular for the first time in my life. I'm like, oh, you didn't tell me that you had issues with chronic constipation. They're like, no, this other thing over here is so much more serious that I really wanted to get rid of that, but I'm getting, your body, it's like an entire remodeling job inside and out.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. So we'll see. Hopefully in a month, we'll give you good news.
Carol, would you like to share with Nabila about your story, how you started that same Tuesday, August 8th, and how you had a couple of conditions and where you are now?
I'd be glad to. I'm excited about this because my birthday's tomorrow. I'll be 84. I'm so excited.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Because I feel like I'm about 50 now. My husband passed away, and even the nurse, they call it, I had a broken heart. I was healthy, fine, got down to 84 pounds, had afibrillation in my heart, and it was fibrillating, and they were talking about and so I had to go to a doctor for the first time. So, but along the way came the knowledge of these patches, and I'm familiar with good stuff over the years. And so I thought, let's try this. Sounds good. So I put the patches right on my sternum as per suggested by Lillian. And within 10 minutes, the AFib stopped. My heart stopped pulsating crazily, and that all is gone. In fact, I was having another echocardiogram today, and this was since August, and just to double check, and I'm doing fine. And all of those symptoms changed, and I gained weight naturally without trying to do that. And my friend, she's lost the weight that she needed to lose without dieting. So we're balancing out. And that's what I'm also seeing today, is particularly today, because I like to drive a car. I mean, if I could, I'd be a race car driver. So I'm serious. I used to have a commercial driver's license. What I'm seeing, and I saw it today, my brain and everything is like, oh, and this is good. My brain was right on target, and it came back. It was starting to kind of, I had to be careful. I had to pay really close attention. Today, just zinging along. So, but I'm noticing the whole body's working on it, and I put the use patches in different places and making use of all of these things, and it's certainly working. And I'm really, really excited about it.
Yeah.
So,
and
I turned 84 and I feel 50. So, what can you do?
And Carol, when she started on the patches, you could not be very active. You were very frail.
No.
Every time she would come on these Zooms, she was always wearing a pulsometer. And in the third week, I remember that she actually went to her general practitioner and her cardiologist, and both of them confirmed you no longer have AFib. And then she started getting more active again, where her friends started calling me. They're like, we don't know what you did to Carol, but it's like, we want those patches too, because she's back to the old Carol that we used to know. she's active now. She's no longer always at home. She's able to get out. She's energized. She's like the way she used to be when we knew her when she was younger.
Yeah, and that's what happened, and that's how I felt. And today was another example of that. It's like, okay, it was like it took it another step again. It's like every day is exciting. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah. And then I remember also in the first month when you said, I'm starting to remember things from like 20, 30, 40
Oh
years
yeah,
as a kid.
definitely.
And I was like, I've had that experience too. It's like, I forgot about this and that. And now
Yeah,
all those, it's like, you're not even looking for those memories. They just come in and you're like,
that's right. Yeah,
yeah, it's very exciting. So
it's very exciting. You'll have fun with them. Just
Well, thanks.
enjoy yourself with them.
Well, actually, I did use the mother, you know, and it was on my knee because I didn't have constant pain, but once in a while I would have had a sharp pain. But it was something to look into. And I personally do not care for doctors because,
Right.
you know, they don't cure the problem. They just cure the symptom and make the problem worse.
That's right.
So I was trying to do whatever I can. And then my brother, he went to a seminar and he had bought me one. And you know, my knee pain has, you know, gone. Like since I used I don't have any sharp pain. So
wow.
then what I did was I took a month off kind of to see whether does it come back? Is it true? Is it the patch? Is it not the patch? So then you know, now that I think 100% it was the patch, I wanted to continue so I can get rid of. See, as a kid, I had a surgery. So one of my intestines, I think that's also per Dr. K. She said that I have a scar tissue. So I need to get rid of that one. And the other thing is, it's kind of nice that, you know, with brain and because we are still working, so it's kind of nice to be sharp at work rather than someone says something you have to think.
Yeah, it's effortless. The thing is that's so surprising is like the effortlessness because the memories come in. And as you're learning more about this technology, you're like, you're learning it, but you don't have to memorize. You don't have to learn. You just like, oh my gosh, it's like, I can recall, I can share this. It's like, you know, at the beginning, I was so surprised. I'm like, wow, I'm surprised that I remember enough that I can, all this stuff is coming out of my mouth and it's like effortless.
Yeah.
So it becomes more and more effortless. And you're like, it surprises you how your recall and the speed with which you recall. And again, there's no effort. So it's like, wow. And then your stamina, where you just like, I don't ever get tired. I just don't get tired. And I have people who work out. They're like, I used to get tired. It would take me, like I was talking to somebody today. They're like, yeah, it used to take me 2-3 days to recover. He goes, now it takes me 0 days to recover. I do my workout. I don't even get sore. And I go, yeah, because the studies show that the lactic acid buildup that normally would pool on your muscles that would make you sore, that's absorbed right away because the glutathione is detoxing it out of your body. You're like, oh, no wonder I don't get tired. Like that's why our athletes love it.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I paid attention to is sometimes we overthink things, and I like what you said. I didn't go to doctors. I figured things out myself, or go to the doctor, hear what they had to say, which was rare, and then I'd figure out good stuff for myself. But what I've done with these patches is I'm just allowing them to work. I'm not trying to figure it out at all. And then what I'm seeing is, oh, I noticed something because we're aware. All of a sudden we notice, oh, I noticed that, and I'm attributing it to the patches because that's the only thing I'm working with now. I just totally the patches, and of course good food and supplements, but nothing different other than these patches, and I'm excited about them.
Yeah.
So, and I take the used ones and put those on my feet or different places too. My sister, she did. She's a little younger than I am, and she had a memory loss, And she put, we got the X39 on her, just the one. That's all she could afford. And that brought her back. And now she has X39, X49, and she's alive and well.
Yeah.
And it's just brought her back to her brain. But we don't try to figure it out. I mean, I just don't, because these are so simple. Let's just have fun.
Yeah.
It's time to have fun.
Yeah,
It's
that
like,
is
oh my
awesome.
goodness.
All right. Well, it's
Anyway.
any other questions before we wrap it up here? Because I have a
You have an AO?
I have an AO scan right after this.
Cool.
I'll tell you about that, Nabila, later, but an AO scan is a full body scan where we go down to your DNA level. We scan your brain vessels, your micro and macro circulatory system, all of your muscles, all of your nerves, your food sensitivities are identified. It's a full body scan. And right now, for anyone that I have that's getting started on the patches, it's normally $4.99 for people that are outside of people that I have on the patches, but for people on my team, it's $2.99. But right now it's complimentary. I'm gifting that to anyone who's on the patches already or someone who's getting started on the patches. So you and your brother are eligible for that. Carol already had it done. So
Is that something that, is it done over the phone or?
it's done
Over Zoom.
over a Zoom because I scan your your vocal cords, and then I scan your entire body while we're on the Zoom. And then you'll get all 4 reports are emailed to you as well as the frequencies, because after I scan you, I send optimizing frequencies to help bring your body into balance. And you'll see the before and after right there because it's in the report. So it's very comprehensive. Wouldn't you agree, Carol?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I could see what the patches have done for me. You know, I saw the before and after and getting on the patches. It was incredible. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. So, all right, my beautiful friends and gems.
Okay, thank you so much. It was really wonderful. Thanks, Carol. Nice.
And thank you. Come on, try to get on as much as you can. We have fun.
Yeah, tomorrow at 2 p.m. and then tomorrow night at 7 p.m.
Yeah, we'll see you again, perhaps.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.